Hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new. My name is Rose, and today we are doing, I believe, our last weekly check-in for October. So today is Tuesday the 28th of October 2025, and I'm a little late with the video again. So this last week, I don't even know what happened. I am in the middle of this tax class. In order to get a job doing taxes, I have to pass this class, and we had a test to take, and then we had four self-study chapters. So it was quite a bit of brain power for myself. I also had an interview with the tax place that I am taking this class through, and to my ever delight and surprise, I did completely ace the interview. I have an acceptance offer letter, of course contingent on me passing this class. So there was a lot of moving pieces last week for my brain to process, and I don't know if I really use it as an excuse, but I kind of fell into this natural rhythm of just eating my emotions, and then that just spiraled me down into primordial chaos. So needless to say, I have more than failed what I had set out to do for this week. And it really got me thinking to like the whys. Because it's not just, oh, well, I slipped up. But like there's always a reason, right? And I will always endeavor to figure out that why for myself, in order so I can then go and, in theory, do better next time, right? So, and I really think what started for me is I started drinking soda again. It is zero soda, so it's not quite as bad as a full sugar grossness, but that really allowed my brain to go, well, if you're gonna do this, then you can try that. And we continued to fall from grace from there. So I know exactly how this happened. I didn't realize it had gotten as bad as it did until I have been kind of thrown on my ass more than once with how my body is feeling. I'm having a lot of symptoms come back that I haven't had in several months of doing low carb, keto / carnivore, and those things like just being just debilitatingly tired, like falling asleep at my desk, kind of tired. Like the inflammation in my body is starting to accumulate again. And I'm starting to feel it in like my fingers and my hips and my back and my knees, and like my cerebral palsy is starting to get a little tighter. So like I know the last couple of weeks of me not eating like I really need to be has pushed me back. And in terms of my weight, I started this week at 277. I am somewhere around 278, maybe 279 right now. It's super hard for me to actually give an answer, because the last about 3 days that I've stepped on the scale, I have been swinging 5 pounds one way or the other. And I know that is all inflammation, because, I mean, you probably could gain 5 pounds in a week, but even I'm not eating that badly. at least for the shifts I'm seeing. And I'm not just saying, oh, it's getting just heavier. I'm seeing swings down. I'm seeing swings up. I have not gotten a consistent scale read in many days. So we're just going to take this week as a complete total loss and say that I have gained 2 pounds, and we're just going to start from there, because I feel like that is probably more accurate than not at this point. And that's okay. I think part of my kind of screw it attitude is also the fact that I have disqualified myself from my challenge coin. I know I mentioned it briefly before, but I do have a 6-month sobriety token sitting here on my desk. And very similar to its namesake, you know, I have to make 6 months clean, which for me is not binging. It's eating the way that my body needs to function optimally, which seems to be the very least keto, if not more towards carnivore. You know, it's also things like taking my mental health into consideration and taking steps in that direction and all of these things. And I have failed miserably in October, which is fine. Like, I knew that my journey was not going to be linear. I knew that I was going to have times when I fall on my ass. And there's going to be times when I have huge triumphs. And that's one of the reasons why I've started this YouTube channel, is to document everything. Not only for myself, but for people to hopefully look at that and go, wow, you know, from the start of her channel to now, she's done a lot, and it's not been beautiful. It is ugly, it's nasty, it's a lot of hard work, it's a lot of, for me, it's a lot of cursing, it's a lot of whining, it's a lot of, you know, forcing yourself to do the thing you don't want to do because it's what's best for you. And it's real. And that's really what I want to build, is something real. You know, you're not always going to have wins every week. And that's okay. And I'm sitting here actively in real time realizing that even though I've eaten badly, I have not actually punished myself for failing, which is a new experience for me. Usually when stuff like this happens, you know, I will restrict, and then it leads to a binge, and it's a whole vicious cycle. And I am realizing that though I have been eating very poorly, I have not once reached for a punishment. Huh. I don't really know what to do with myself about that. It makes me really really uncomfortable. That's kind of cool. Okay. Well, that's progress at least. I'm gonna have to sit with myself for a little bit and really process that. And then let you guys know my thoughts, because that's a cycle that I don't think I've ever had. I don't think I've ever had a break in that cycle before. And usually for me, like the trigger for that cycle is just abject self-loathing. And then it's accompanied by trauma thoughts pinging around in there, and I'm at a loss for words. Okay. Well, while I sit and I glitch out and process all of that, what are my plans for the week? So, oh God, I feel like Pinky in the Brain. We're gonna do same goals, different week. We're gonna try to focus on weights. We're going to try to focus on cardio. And if I can, my 5 minutes of sunshine. My goal, instead of staying in ketosis, is going to be get back on the wagon, crawl out of this hole that I put myself in, which means the next 2 weeks are going to be a detox and a reset, and that's going to absolutely suck. But it's got to be done. So let's be real, starting tomorrow, because today's already off to a bad start, I'll be detoxing, which just means that I am going to be really strict keto. We're going to try to get my protein up to at least 150 grams. My carbs will be 50 or below. We're going to ease myself back into carnivore. And we're going to do nothing but water. I might do coffee occasionally just because I do have migraines and the caffeine helps. Man. And then we are going to try to get my my gallon and a half. We're going to try to shoot for a minimum of 100 ounces, which is just under 2 gallons, I do believe. So we are going to go for this. I've also been doing some research into different challenges that might be fun to try while I'm going through this detox. And I will make a whole new video on my thoughts, my feelings, what I'm actually doing, because I have an idea of what I want to do, adapting some things for people with chronic illness. So, yeah, we are having a week, we're having a moment, but we're going to carry on. I am going to chalk this week up to a loss, and I'm not going to beat myself up about it, and I'm going to keep moving. The only thing I can do is be better for the next meal. And that's what we're going to do. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to make my family for dinner, and then we're going to stick to that plan, and yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye.